What would you say is the best thing about living here?
People here, they just become your family. Like, everyone's so nice. They just accept you.
You can appreciate things because you're not distracted. I come down to the beach with my boyfriend, with my daughter, with my dog, but you feel the happiness when you ground yourself, when you enjoy the people around you, and when you enjoy the nature, and you go to bed in peace.
There's a beauty of this place being perfectly imperfect. Hello, I'm joined today here with Kat and Jazmin at Natura Cabana, this beautiful place in Cabarete by the beach. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
When you guys set foot on this coast, what was the first thing that you were doing?
I'm Dominican. I was born in Santo Domingo and I grew up in Canada. And I remember my husband wanted to learn to surf. And he was like, oh, we can go to Costa Rica or we can go to Puerto Plata. And I was like, listen, if we're going anywhere for a month, because it was the first time we could go, I'm like, I want to go home, like, you know, still home. And we came here and there was just something so special, Anthony, about the North Coast. You come here and it just, I don't know, it just feels like home.
I was raised in Germany and all our vacations were in the Dominican Republic and mainly in the North Coast. So like every time I came with my family, I was like dropping pieces of myself here. And then at one point I said, I just stay. Like the last vacation, I said, I stay. And gracias. So yeah, I mean, the Dominican Republic is my heart and it's like, it's just home.
What's the actual moment that you decided you were going to stay? Like it wasn't just visiting anymore.
Yeah. Well, I decided as I was 12. I remember it was a family trip and we landed in Punta Cana. And I went into my knees and I kissed the ground.
Oh, wow.
Like I really did as a child. And then I said, Mom, I want to stay here. And this is when it started. And then as I was 14, I was fully here.
So you were here, so you grew up here pretty much, or you grew up in...
No, I grew up there because I was 3 as I went to Germany. And then like as a teenager, I came back. I finished high school here, and since then, this is my primary home. Like, I go there for vacation, but also very real. Like, here, everything is here for me.
What would you say, Kat?
For me, I remember it was having to go back. We were going back January 8th. And I remember looking, and I was like, seeing how my kids were so free, so happy, and we didn't have to worry about the snow. And I remember Bobby and I talking, and I was like, man, I could see myself like living here. And I think for me, like it was reversed for what Jazmin said, because for me, Canada was always home. Like I would come here, we would always come visit my family. And for me, I was very much like, I can't wait to go home. But for me, home was Canada. And now like, it's funny because I go to Canada, I'm like, I can't wait to go home. Like, this is my home.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it took like that trip being and spending a month here, but not being in Santo Domingo, where here is different.
Yeah.
Santo Domingo's a lot. So for me, I think that's why it was like too much. But here is just, there's just something so special about the North Coast.
I agree. You guys are both Dominican, right?
Yes.
So do you ever get hit with, tú eres Dominicana? Like, does that happen to you?
All the time. They're like, oh, tú eres Dominicana. Ah, yo pensaba que tú eres una gringa. Is that okay that I said that in Spanish? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
What I said, I'll translate, was like, people are like, you're Dominican? Oh, I thought you were like, expat. And I'm like, no, I'm Dominican. They're like, you don't sound Dominican. And I was like, oh, well, I am.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Dominicans, they look like they could be from anywhere in the world, right? All of us know that except for everybody out of here. And Dominicans sometimes, right? Because even Dominicans like, pero tú no pareces Dominicano. Is like, okay, well, what does a Dominican look like? Because, and then they're like, you know.
Salami y el plátano.
That's
like,
you
know,
those names.
Yeah, correct.
That's what I say. I say, el dominicano se reconoce. You know who a Dominican is by them having a plátano, you know, and then saying, you know, because it really is the way we speak, and maybe knowing Spanish or not knowing Spanish, or talking with your hands, or you know, all those things. And so it's not always, you know, like a given, because we could look like we're from anywhere in the world, you know.
If you look at my mom, she looks white. Like my mom's white, blonde. She looks like my husband's mom instead of mine. Yeah.
What's your girl's like first language? Would you say it's Spanish, English? Is it German?
For me, I'm more comfortable in English. So I would say English because I think in English, like I dream in English. I have to like sometimes translate things from English to Spanish. Like, so for me, I'm more comfortable in English.
Yeah. Well, no, for me, it's like, I'm gonna say it's a weird mix because my mom always spoke in Spanish with me in Germany, right? But friends, school, and everybody else was in German.
Yeah.
So I'm like the same with both languages, and I can switch very fast between the two languages. And sometimes, I got myself thinking in German about Dominican things, like about things that I was doing in Spanish, I'm thinking about in German. So for me, it's like, I feel comfortable in both. But I can't say like, okay, this is the language I prefer. Of course, I speak a Dominican, like, óyeme, mírame, na vaina.
Yeah, I can tell.
You know, but it's, I will say it's the same.
It's funny because for me, I speak better in English, I feel like, but I can speak Spanish well as well. But when I'm talking to someone in Spanish for a while, yeah, you start seeing gaps and they start like, tú no eres de aquí, right? Like, you're not from here. And so I always have to apologize. And I say, you know, I'm sorry. I'm translating literally as I'm speaking. I'm translating from English to Spanish. So would you say, like, I'm sure this happens because it happens to me a lot, that you start thinking in a different language and you start mixing it up and like throwing a word there. And
Spanglish, you know what it is? It's the word when you can't find the word in the other language, you just mix it up.
You
like,
just,
you know?
just throw what you have here. Like, this is what I got.
Yeah, exactly.
So Julio and I, right, we speak about ni de aquí ni de allá a lot, right?
Okay.
So I think you already know where I'm going with this. Have you felt that way? So like me growing up in the United States, like I felt, I was really not from there. And then, coming here, I always felt like I was from here. Obviously, I've always wanted to move here because of that. I feel like, you know, I kind of belong here personally. But of course, like, family, friends and family that were raised here might see me a little bit different at times. And so, do you guys feel like that? Like where you were in Canada or in Germany, like maybe you weren't from there, exactly. And over here, it's maybe the same thing?
In Canada, I always you know, us Dominicans, we're just proud to be Dominican. So I was very proud always like to be Dominican, but I didn't feel like I didn't belong. But when I would come here and I would be like with my cousins and stuff and they'd be like, oh, she's from Canada. And I'm like, no, like I'm from here. But they're like, no, she's from Canada. And I'm just like, well, then that's when you're like, you say that you start thinking like, oh man, like I am Dominican. I'm proud to be Dominican. I speak Spanish, but the same thing. They're like, oh, es que tu acento. And I'm like, what accent? I was like, I don't have an accent. They're like, yeah, you don't know, you know, like you don't have a Dominican accent. But then get me mad. They're like, oh, there it is. Yeah. So,
no, for me, it's like, as the same as with the language. We came here a lot and, we visited always my family and I never had that like, the only thing was like my grandmother, she was like, oh no, agarra la niña. She can like, you know, and they wasn't the same with my other cousins. But
yeah,
me
because,
was like,
yeah.
like the crystal child. This is the only thing. But I think it was like, because they never, like, they didn't saw me so much as the others. And they wanted like, you know, to like mimarme, you know.
That's true.
You know? So, but I feel like I felt the same, like in both.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. Even here, like dealing with things like the bank, for example, right? Like they'll make you feel it. You know, I wasn't born here. I was born in the U.S., so it's easy, you know, when they say to me like, no, porque tú eres extranjero, so you got to do it like this. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's technically right. I wasn't born here, right? I am from afuera, like not from here, right?
Fake Dominican.
Yeah, right? Or whatever they mean by that. I mean, in the financial world. But even people, like I found that, like my dad, for example, or like people in my family that they were born and maybe raised here for until a certain age, him a lot older than other people that leave when they're younger. And then they come back and then it's like, no, because you're not from here. It's like, wait a minute, how does that even work? Now, maybe on financial terms, like for the bank systems, is like that. But yeah, I always find that like fascinating. When is it and when it's not? Like, I guess it's when it's convenient.
It's like, you don't have a cedula, you're not a Dominican, because I lived it the first year we lived here and I'm like, I'm Dominican. They're like, oh, you don't have a cedula. And I'm like, that doesn't even mean anything. Like they just treat you like, but you get a cedula they're like, oh, you're good.
Yeah.
If he comes here,
Yeah,
somebody,
that's true.
yeah, it's
It's
true.
interesting. It's interesting because yo tengo cédula, right? I have a cédula. Yeah, I mean, like 10 years ago or something, I got my cédula. I had to do it by birthright,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
With our kids.
But it says Queens, New York. I was born in Queens. So it's funny when I give it when people usually don't look at it, but like, for administrative things, they'll look at it and they'll be like, pero tú no naciste aquí. So it's like, I have my cédula. Am I Dominican now? Like, I don't know, It's interesting. You girls both work in real estate, right? Realtor DR.
Yeah.
Do you do real estate outside of here, like in Canada or in Germany? And if you did, like, were there any differences? So no, you didn't do real estate.
No, I didn't either. We bought like student properties. That's what we had. So we were in the real estate, but as investors.
The last thing I did before moving here for about 4 years, I was in real estate. I had my broker's license. I had my regular real estate salesperson license in Florida. And then also I did mortgages as well. So I had 3 licenses there with real estate. I work with investors a lot. And so I know that world pretty well in the States, specifically in Florida. That's where I was licensed. And I know the common things that a lot of people know that you hear is that over here, you don't really need a license. If your cat wanted to be a real estate agent, that's the thing. But that's changing now. I heard they're working on doing something where you're required.
We're working on anyone that sells real estate to have a license, the same as the Canada and the US. So we're working on. I think it's great because what happens is there's a lot of people that I like to say beach agents that really just okay, if a sale comes and they'll do it and stuff, and you have to be professional, and it's a little bit. We don't have an MLS here, so sometimes it's a little bit tricky, and you get people that will be like, oh, agents that don't have the best interest in their clients. It's what's best for me, which is, I think, then it'll be a little bit harder and a little bit easier that way.
I mean, we are professionals already.
Yes, 100%.
We just need that title to make people happy.
Yeah.
Because I think here, we care more about people and about where they invest and in what they invest than in other countries with license.
Yeah.
So this is what set us apart, that we care for our
Yeah, and I think so. But why what you're saying too is sometimes I have clients that are like, okay, I want to just buy, and I'm just like, okay, well, you want to come here, you want to experience the community, especially when people are relocating. For me, the biggest thing is, okay, you got to come here and experience the community, because you can buy a house anywhere, and then if you don't like the community, then it's that's pretty shitty, and it's somewhere else in a different country. It's not the same. And here, people buy houses not like how they do in Canada and the US, because everybody's always buying a house. Here, it's a want, not a necessity. You know what I mean? So it's always, you have to make sure that you're doing the best to educate them and stuff.
Yeah.
Would you say Dominican diaspora outside, obviously, of the country, buy different than people that are international that aren't, don't have any Dominican roots? Have you noticed any differences in the way that they purchase? I know you mentioned, one of the things might be that I know to be true is that Dominicans that are outside look at, anything that they buy here as something for the future and the investment para el retiro, to retire and stuff like that. Yeah. Would you say that that's correct? And then is there anything else have you noticed that might be different?
I've noticed a lot now. A lot of Dominicans are coming back. A lot of people it's the same thing. I used to come here as a child, and they don't want to be in Canada. They don't want to be in the States. So they are starting to look more, but I find that's more I want to be in a gated community. As in I want to buy in where I grew up in a barrio, I am noticing that they'll be like, okay, I do want to live in a gated community. I do want 24-hour power. I do want 24-hour water. It's not always about the security, but it's about the benefits of being in a gated community.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
That's right. I mean, if you are in the States many years, you get used to the lifestyle. And if you can afford it in a new country, then of course you want to have it better, right? And the thing with Dominicans is, back to your question, Dominicans like to have things secure. Mm-hmm. They want to feel they have something where they can go back and they are safe, right? And this is for them a little piece of land or a little apartment or a little house. Even though there is nobody living in the house or it's not rented, so I know I have my little house. If something goes wrong here, I have somewhere where I can go back. Yeah. This is the first thing Dominicans do when they reach money. If they have a little bit of brain, they buy a little house. Doesn't have to be a big investment, but they wanna feel I have my home, I'm secure.
Yeah. Cabarete versus Sosua versus Puerto Plata. Who do you send where and why? How does that change?
Well, I'm biased, so I'm always about the Cabarete in Sosua, just because that's what I know.
It's
So
a beautiful place, you know?
You know, and like I live here, like my kids go to school here, they go out with their friends and things like that. So for me, I don't know Puerto Plata enough to talk about it. It is beautiful and stuff like that. But even like when people are like, oh, like I have clients that are like, yeah, I want to buy, you know, I go to the Dominican all the time, and I'm like, oh, where? They're like Punta Cana, and I'm like, okay. They're like, well, you know, I want to buy there. Like, where do you suggest? I'm like, well, I'm from the North Coast. They're like, you're not in Punta Cana? They're like, some people have no idea. They just think the Dominican Republic is Punta Cana. So it is nice that I find that it's like people are learning about it more now. But like, I would always be like, just Cabarete and Sosua. You're like 15, they're like so close by, 15 minutes from everything. It's a small town. It's really like a community.
Yeah.
And that's what like I like about it.
Yeah. Now, the thing with real estate, it's also that it's very local.
Yes.
Right? You can't help a client in Punta Cana the same way you can help them here on the North Coast.
Yeah.
And we actually we figure out through questions what the client likes to do and what pulls more the client. And then we made our recommendations. But mostly people are like, oh, I want to go to Punta Cana. Like, most people know where they want to be, right? We just figure out through the little questions if it's the best decision, and then we guide them. But I mean, Puerto Plata is just 45 minutes away from here, and we drive them around, we show them, we talk about what we know. But if the client is looking for like, oh, I want to be every day at the beach and I like the community, we tell them, listen, you are in the right place.
Yeah.
Cabarete Sosua, it's your place.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, it depends what they're looking to do, or if they already have an established place, obviously you're not going to be pushing them elsewhere, because it's about what they want and what they're comfortable with. Let me ask both of you, has there been a week where you're like, yeah, like I want to leave for whatever reason? Has that happened yet? And if it did, why?
Oh yeah, it's happened to me before. Like,
Has it? Okay.
Yeah.
Jazmin saying no.
No. But for me,
You know me voy.
I'm staying here no
I'm
matter
not
what.
leaving, obviously. But you know, there's
happened that you've had
it's
those
frustrating. Like, you know, for me, it was like this week. Like I got stopped for like by the Ahmed, said like you ran a red light, and I'm like, no, I didn't. It's yellow, and I'm like, every time you guys always say so. I'm like already fuming, and I'm like, you know what? Just give me my ticket. I have somewhere to be. He's like, what? I'm like, just write me the ticket. Like, you know, and then I'm just like, I'm like, just have nothing better to do, and then I was like, I'm just so over it, you know. But I mean, after when I got home and I was good, I was like, oh my God, like if this is the least I have to worry about today, like
That's it.
I was like, what am I doing? But you do get upset at the moment because sometimes I just feel like it kept happening to me. Like it's happened more in the last 2 weeks, and I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It happened to us together.
Yeah, so it's already happened to me this month 4 times, you know? So like that, but other than that, like I see my children and I see like the life they have, and I'm like, you know what? That's nothing. That's just like a little thing. I would pick here any day.
Kat, you said no, right? You said like that's a hard no. Like I've
That's
never
a hard
thought
no,
about,
boy.
right?
No.
No, you can't
I'm good
compare.
here. No, I'm good here.
Yeah.
I went there for vacation like for 3 weeks, and like from day one.
Germany.
Yeah, to Germany. Sorry. Yeah. From day one to the last day, I was telling my boyfriend, I'm gonna appreciate so much my life once I'm back. Like I tell you, it's totally different. I mean, it's there you can have like fancy things and all that, you know, but here this is just special.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to have like those days where you're like frustrated and then also love it here, right? You know, I know that happens to me too. It's like same as you. There's months where it's like the driving is fantastic. There's nothing really happening. And then there's sometimes I remember the first vehicle that I purchased when I moved here, it kept getting dinged and stuff, and the motorcycles and this and that. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, man, this is, you know, so you get frustrated, but to your point is like, that's normal for that to happen. But then you look at the bigger picture, and then you look at what's happening in around the world outside of here right now. And you're like it beats the alternative kind of, right? You know, you don't really want to, have to say that, you know, it's enough to have to make you go back, because it's really not, you know?
I don't like to say never, like, never say never. But for me, I'm dying here. This is like, my family left to Canada to give me and my brothers a better life. Me and my husband came here to give our kids a better life.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
was there something that you guys found that that you weren't looking for that after you moved back that you found?
like, moved back here.
Yeah.
We were very busy back home with our kids, had so many activity. For us, I feel like it's quality time. Like, we're still super busy, but we get to have all this quality time. Sorry. Like, I pick up my kids from school and we talk, and while I drop them off in their activities, but before they had to be on a school bus while we were working, and, and things like that. So for me, I think that's the biggest, most important thing. We're Dominicans. We all know family's so important.
Yeah.
And just having that time, because you know what? We're not going to get that time back. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and my 16-year-old is my best friend one day. Some days he doesn't want to talk to me. You know what I mean? So for me, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, from my point, I came back as a teenie. I didn't have the adult life, right? So some things I can't compare. So what I can say from the area here, as I came back, I came first to the city and always felt like pulled by the campo, right? And then I just feel and discover that, like, leaving the city, which I could compare with the life there, here it's completely different. You are aware.
Yeah.
You feel things.
Yeah.
You hear things
Yeah.
that you can't in the city because of the noise, because of the work, because of the time, because of the heat. Here it's just different. You can feel yourself. You can feel your neighbors. You can feel your family.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, there's a sense of being present here that you get. Well, let me ask you, is there anything that you miss from Canada or from Germany that you don't have here?
Me too. I do. My mom, my family. I think for me, like my mom, my brothers, my nieces, and my nephew. I feel like that's the one thing that I would say I miss the most. And obviously, like, some food that you can't get here. But if you were to tell me, like, what's the most thing that you miss the most, is my family.
Yeah. Well, no, family is not my point because most of my family live here. My mom lives in Germany, but we see very often. I was there just a month ago.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the way how things are organized. At the house, outside, how the things are, like the public toilets.
People being on time.
Yeah. Like those things I miss, but I can live without that.
Yeah. For me, it's like infrastructure, right? So when I go to Punta Cana, for example, I really enjoy certain aspects of it because it tends to be, maybe because it's like a newer city that's being developed, they're putting a lot more effort, and it's a huge tourist hub. Like these areas as well. It's not just obviously Punta Cana, but there's certain things there that make me miss or that I appreciate because I do miss certain infrastructural things, right? And qualities of the U.S. because that's where I was at. But apart from that, it's really like the food here, the just the culture, the way you live. To me, is a lot better. What would you say is the best thing about living here?
I love everything about living here, but I would say the best thing about living here is it's the people, man.
Yeah.
Like, the Dominican people, they make you feel so welcome. Like, my family's not here. Obviously, I have family in Santo Domingo, but I don't see them all the time. But people here, they just become your family. Like, Glenny's, who cleans for works for me. Like, she's my family. Like, it's just the people. They always, like, the security where I live. Like, everyone's so nice. And if they can give you the shirt off your back, they would.
Yeah.
Like, from being in the States, I don't know how Germany is, but sometimes you don't even know your neighbors, or like, you'll smile to your neighbor, you say hi, and they'll be like trying to just like, I don't want to talk to you, like, it's just the friendliness of people, and like, they just accept you. They're just like, oh, your family's not here, you're our family. So for me, that's my favorite part about living here.
Yeah, no, back to, like, in the same question and like mixing it with the infrastructure and stuff. I understand the point from the infrastructure and I support it at some point, but if you compare the infrastructure with the things you don't have here, and back to your question, like what you like the most here, it's like I like exactly that we are so many years back. And back to what I say,
Yep.
you can appreciate things because you're not distracted.
That's true.
In my vacation, I was in a different store every single day, consuming, spending.
Me too.
Here, I come down to the beach with my boyfriend, with my daughter, with my dog, and we just enjoy the palms, you know?
Yeah.
And this, at the end of the day, makes you happy.
Yeah.
Not that you bought like shoes or whatever. Like if you buy, there is a point where you don't feel happiness anymore. But you feel the happiness when you ground yourself, when you enjoy the people around you, and when you enjoy the nature, and you go to bed in peace.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I would say, you know, there's a beauty of this place being perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of more grounded, and you get to feel that energy and just life a little bit more.
Sorry to interrupt. Say one more thing. It's the weather.
Yeah.
It's the weather. Like, you know, you don't get the winter blues. I hate wearing pants. I don't wear pants. Like, I probably own 2 pairs of jeans.
Yeah.
So that makes you, you know, like the nice weather, waking up with the sun, it does change your mood. Whether if you're like upset or something, how are you going to get mad? Look at this view. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just can't, right?
Yeah. That's
I came from Florida, and although the weather was nice, but it's not, you can't compare it. The winters are colder, and this was South Florida.
Okay.
The summer more humid. It's just different. You have the mountains here, over there is totally flat, and the beaches, you can't compare the beaches. It just of course combined with the people as well. You can't compare in my opinion. Let me ask you girls this: if there were someone right now that is, or for those that are sitting where you guys were sitting right before, where you were thinking about making the move, what would you tell them?
Just do it. Just, you know, do it, and like, you'll figure it out.
yeah.
Like, there's so many people here that were in your shoes and that will come and help. And that will help you and guide you, and you don't have to do it by yourself. And that's the best thing about living here, whether it's in Punta Cana, Santo Domingo, Santiago. There is a community, and they will help. I just think that sometimes you just got to do it. Yeah.
You're thinking right, girl.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, so you would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Just do it. Where can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at Invest with Kat.
You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. My name is Jazmin de Oleo, but also like my username is Paradise Deals, DR. So those are the platforms. Oh, also YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. Thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
It's very nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you.
Likewise.